This exhibition is a group that I belong to, DC Urban Explorers, and we go to abandoned buildings and factories. We photograph these places that are in decay, so we're very much interested in things that other people have forgotten. My photograph here is particularly of Hunting Beach, South Carolina, where the beach is eroding at 100 feet a year. So when you first go out to the beach, there's thousands of trees out there and it's overwhelming. You almost don't know how to start photographing. Then you sort of start framing images and coming away with images and finding out what you want to say about the erosion of the beach there. Hunting Beach, South Carolina, like I said, that's near Beaufort, South Carolina. This particular photograph, there's a small slab of concrete of a house left here, and you can see a bolt here, and that's really all that's left of this house. I used a very fast shutter speed here to freeze the wave coming in, and it sort of freezes the foam and makes it almost look like it's ice. And of course, with this winter and everything that the whole country has been experiencing this year with the snow and all, this almost looks like it's frozen in time.
I'm Cindy Vasco, and this is my photograph from the abandoned Mount Moriah Cemetery in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The cemetery is an incredible site of, I think it's over 300 acres, and it's been abandoned for quite a while, but there are so many treasures to be had in this awesome site for abandonments. I processed this in HDR, high dynamic range format, and I use Photomatic software to process it. I took a series of 9 images. I merged probably 3 or 4 and processed them into painterly effect. It looks like a watercolor. It's like a forest inside this cemetery. This is actually the more cleared area, but other parts are completely overgrown, and you go through the woods and you find these treasures that are hidden amidst the trees.
Well, this is my piece. This is called Ladder 49. It's an old grain elevator in Maryland that's been abandoned for some years. I called it Ladder 49 because there was a film called Ladder 49 that was shot here, and it probably can't tell on the video, but there's a lot of burnt-looking areas on the structure of the building that were actually in the film. If you look at the film, if you look it up on YouTube, you can actually see the flames crawling up the structure. This was actually shot with an iPhone. Up until recently, I've been an exclusive iPhone photographer, and I treated it as if it were a tintype, and this is actually printed on an aluminum sheet to try to give the same kind of daguerreotype feel to it, and I think that worked fairly well.
This one's taken in Steubenville, Ohio, and rather a unique structure because it was 2 blast furnaces, 120 feet tall, and they actually faced each other, and that's quite a unique feat. But unfortunately, it's there no longer, so it's immortalised in my photo. It was demolished last year, last August, so it exists no more. It's actually digital, and then I photoshopped it heavily, trying to give it a kind of sci-fi spiritual aura because it's no longer standing, so I wanted it to look a bit special. Well, really it's the inside, when you're standing inside, because the structure's just so immense, and you can almost feel how the workers were when they were working there, so it was cool, and it was very sad to see it demolished, so that's why I wanted it to be a piece in this show.
So this is Miss Cuff's classroom at J.W. Cooper School. The school was abandoned in the late 80s, early 90s, so there's a lot of decay still left inside. I shot this piece because it was really interesting to see the desk and the chair still with the chalkboard in the back, and to have her name and everything still painted on the chalkboard as well. So it kind of inspired me because you can see, or you can imagine the kids still sitting in the classroom and her at the front of the desk being able to, give her assignments for the day and all that kind of stuff. And it, kind of spoke to me, so I wanted to shoot it that way, and with the desk and the chair together with the chalkboard. All right, so my photograph is actually merged through high dynamic range, which is several photographs merged together. I did one at a lower exposure, one at normal exposure, one at high exposure, and then when I processed them, I put them all together. That leaves your high content in it, and also keeps your lower levels and your blacks and shadows in it as well. And then you kind of play with it from there and merge it together and get what looks to some people as a painting, or similar to that. So the whole scene was shot in natural lighting. There was no outside lighting or flash or anything else used. It was kind of a little bit of longer exposure to get the natural light coming through the window that was set to the east of the room actually, and that's what I captured through that.
Shot this image in an abandoned hospital in Staunton. It was something I've seen online. I was looking for some urbex place in Virginia, and all of a sudden I found this image online, and I digged to see who did it and contacted the person who did it, and they told me where to get it, and so I went, and it was great. I am very attracted in artistic composition, graphic composition, and it needs to vibrate me. Whatever I see, I need to have a feeling for it in terms of composition and the lighting. It has to be perfect. Everything has to be there. And that was just easy. The stairs were just offering me the picture. So it was an easy one, I would say.
My name is Liz Roll. This is my piece, and it's a time-setting clock in the Berault Tower in Baltimore. And I spied this thing across the room. It's probably pretty much life-size, and I had to zoom way in to get it, and I don't think anybody else saw it. And I just like the color. I pushed up the saturation a little bit, but that was really about it.
Hi, my name is J.L. Holtz, and this is my print, The Willies. And this was shot at a blast furnace in Pennsylvania. And the story behind the shoes is that a dancer from the local ballet company was there for a photo shoot, and a lot of people create art at this blast furnace, and she felt that her shoes, her point shoes, deserved a place of honor after her photo shoot. So she threw them up over a rail, and that's where they've stayed since. And when I came across them, I kind of did a double take, because you don't expect to see point shoes in a blast furnace. So I turned around and I framed it and I took the shot, and I'm actually surprised that this is the image chosen for the show, because unfortunately I didn't put as much effort into it as I probably should have. It just seemed like a takeaway shot, and when I got home I realized that it was a little bit better than that.
Photographer for this photo. It's a close-up shot of a 1950s era American car. I forget the make of it, but the chrome piece and the color and the rust of it, having a close-up shot of it for me was very interesting. This showed more of the detail of the car versus trying to get the whole car in the photograph. I wanted to get a close-up detailed shot. It was in we call it the car graveyard. It's a place on the border of Pennsylvania and Maryland, not too far from here, about an hour and a half, 2 hours north. And the gentleman had literally thousands of cars on his property from the 1930s to the 1950s scattered about, and it was just a field day, so to speak, to take photographs of old cars.
Okay, my name is Dawn Robinson, and this is my photograph for the gallery, and it was shot at an abandoned psychiatric hospital in upstate New York. The camera that I shoot with is a Nikon D300S or a Nikon D7100, and I mainly shoot HDR photography. When I came upon this, it was in the basement of the hospital, so it was pitch black. There was absolutely no lighting down there at all. So my exposure was pretty much, it was set on like 30 seconds, and then I painted it with a flashlight so that I could actually get it to come out. And then the rest of it, basically I just put a sepia tone filter on it in Photoshop, and that's about it. For photography, my favorite type of photography is exploring. So I find shooting stuff like this to be a lot more fun than any other form of photography that I shoot.
Hi, my name is Yadin Havorka, and this is my piece, Silhouette. It was taken in Brownsville, Pennsylvania, probably about a month and a half ago. The piece in and of itself is very textural, and I focus a lot on composition as opposed to actual context. So when I look at something, I like to take it out of context, and it's usually a lot smaller. This is taken at a much bigger magnitude than I'm usually used to. but I was just drawn by the center of focus and the weight that the emptiness between the light had with this surrounding and decaying wall. And the texture of the wall, I think, is amazing too, because this was like painted by nature over decades and decades. We're just like people painting on all these different color layers, and over time the water just cracked and made this nice and interesting texture. But the interesting thing about this light is it fits right into it, and it almost looks like it's part of the wall, even though it's about a foot away from the wall. Well, I usually tend to focus on abstract art. I like the idea of people kind of putting themselves into their own art, or into my artwork. I don't really like to be representational and tell people exactly what my picture is of. That's why I like taking things out of context, because it forces people to take their own experiences, their own emotions, what they're feeling at the time, and place it into the image, because there's something between the artwork and the viewer where the magic kind of occurs. And a lot of my other pieces mean something completely different to everybody, and I actually enjoy that, which is why I never tell people what it is, because you see the magic drain away on their face once they realize it's just this everyday object. And I like to keep the magic into it, so I don't tell them what it is, and I usually like to hear what they have to say about it. And yeah, that's why I like art. I mean, it's all about emotion, it's all about context and what you give to it. And yeah, there's nothing like photography.
Yeah, shot is from Brownsville, Pennsylvania. It's a industrial town, probably about 100 years ago, and then it's very close to Pittsburgh. We went there, and this is a building, very old building, and it used to be a hospital. And probably after fire, burned this part of it down, and then it got abandoned probably about 10-15 years ago. And I just walk around in the building and find this windows pretty interesting, because it gave us some ideas inside and outside. So I took it, and this is among many pictures I took from that place, and I like this very much, so I submitted to this exhibition. It's very exciting. I hope that I can share this picture and some of my thoughts with my friends and other people, and hopefully they all like it.
Well, my name's Jack Conroy. I'm a photographer from Washington, D.C. And this is my piece, which is Carrie's Hoist. It is a picture of a 3,000-pound screw hoist from the Carrie Furnaces trip that the D.C. Urban Explorers group took a couple months ago. It is from an abandoned steel factory near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this piece really caught my attention because of the intricate detail in the metalworking. And so I used a fairly wide-angle lens. I approached really close to the image and got a nice perspective to this picture. It was a great trip, my first trip with the DC Urban Explorers, and I look forward to many more. And hopefully we'll get a lot of time to come back. This has been a great gallery, and I'm really proud to be here, and I wish everyone best of luck.
And it's a very exciting exhibition.